this tutorial, I'm basically going to show you how to animate text, put it in a pre-comp, and then export it so that you can put it into your videos. So we're going to start by making a composition folder, making a comp, text, and then we are going to do 1920 by 1080. So then here we go. This is where it's all going to begin. So I'm going to just use my Dan Helbling font and just animate my name. So there's Dan Helbling, and I am going to center it by using the Align panel to center it in the middle. And I'm going to make a very simple text reveal where the text just animates up into frame. So what you first want to do is keyframe. So highlight your text layer, press P, and then this little stopwatch right here, if you click it, that marks a spot in time, a frame in time. And so what we'll start by doing is we'll go about a second ahead in time and put another keyframe down. So this second keyframe is going to be where the text lands in this point in time. So we're actually going to go back to the first frame, and I'm just going to pull this animation down. And for me, I basically just see, how far it goes down to where I'm going to make this mask cut itself off and hide it. So this is probably far enough. So however long you want your text to stay on screen, go that far down the timeline. I'm just going to have it on for 5 seconds. So at the 6-second mark, I'm going to make another keyframe, which pretty much locks this keyframe in time. So your text will not be moving here. And then I'm going to go a second later, and I'm actually just going to copy this keyframe and paste it here. So then it goes back down to exactly where it was supposed to go to. All right. So now this is what the animation looks like. Goes up, stops, goes down, stops. So this is pretty stale. So if we want to make this a little smoother, you can highlight your keyframes, and then this is the line graph editor. You click that. You'll actually have to highlight these again. So when you have those highlighted, you can click on this, the Easy Ease, which we don't need to have both sides of the keyframe Easy Ease. We really just have to focus on these two because that's the only time we're going to see the text moving. So for this keyframe, we are going to use the Easy Ease In because it is easing in to the animation. So that'll allow our text to come to a more smooth stop. And there's more ways that you can manipulate this. If you really want to custom manipulate it, you would have to separate the dimensions, highlight your keyframe, and then you can actually just click and drag it as if it's like a mask, and that actually makes it more smooth. If we put motion blur on, it's a lot more smooth. But I'm just going to show you the basic way to do it right now. So we're actually going to reset all that. Okay. So we're just going to do the Easy Ease In, and then we'll do the Easy Ease Out, which is this one. And that way, when our text comes in, it comes to a nice slow stop. When it goes out, it actually animates out. It ramps into the animation, which is what you want. So now that you see how the animation works, I'm going to show you how to comp it properly so that you can actually make an easy mask that will reveal the text, and then it will go away. If we go back out of the line graph editor, you can now see that it's, the keyframes are ramped. You can see that the way that it indicates that it's ramped in or out is with these different looking keyframes. So now we're gonna pre-comp it, and I'm gonna show you how to mask it. So if you're on a PC, you hit Control-Shift-C. If you're on a Mac, it's Command-Shift-C. And then it's going to ask you to pre-comp it, and you're going to want to move all your attributes to the new composition. So any effects that you would have put on your text, or in this case, the keyframes themselves, that will move into the pre-comp, which will allow you to manipulate everything in the composition. So we're just going to call this text, hit enter, and now you're pre-comp. So your keyframes are now hidden, so you don't even know where those are, which is fine because we already timed it out. You want to do all your timing before you pre-comp. So now we are going to set the mask of where we want just the only part of the text that will reveal will be inside of this mask. So I'm actually going to pull up my grid by pressing Alt and then apostrophe so that I get a better idea of where I should put this. It just lets me frame it up better. So I'm just going to kind of do it a little dirty right here, but there we go. So now you can see at the beginning of the animation, it's completely hidden, and now it animates in from nowhere. So that's a really basic lesson of how to make text reveals in After Effects. And this is just the positioning, which is, you know, the cream of the crop, the basic. But this allows you to kind of heighten your production value, and it looks a little more refined, which is kind of the goal that I'm going for here, is showing you how to just level up some of your animations so that you're not just fading it in and fading it out. This allows you to look like I have an animator working on my projects. It's not hard, so anybody can do this. If you get into After Effects, this took me, what, 10 minutes? But it looks that much better than just fading something in and fading it out. So now that I created my text animation, I pre-comped it, and then I put a mask in. Now it's time to export it so that you can then put this into your video projects. Make sure that your motion blur is on. It just helps make things look smoother. So now when you want to go to export it, make sure you set your in and out. So mine's 8 second, mine's an 8 second comp. So now that I have that selected, my text animations, you can see that if I toggle on the transparency grid, it is, in fact, an alpha. There's an alpha channel that will render out perfectly. So you want to go to your composition composition tab, and you're going to want to go down to the we'll do add to media encoder, just so that I can show the multiple ways that you can export it. You can also export it directly out of After Effects. If you're on a Mac, there's an animation preset which defaults as RGB and alpha channel, but in this case I'm going to just go into a little more detail to show you how to actually export it at the settings that'll work both on PC and on Mac. So the most important thing that you want to make sure is an option is that you can render as RGB and alpha. The first way to do it in media encoder is under your format settings. You go to QuickTime, and then under your presets, go to GoPro Cineform RGB 12-bit with alpha at maximum depth. So then that'll allow you to export this as an alpha channel and an RGB. What all that means is you won't have a black screen. It'll be text that you can layer over your video footage. So I'm actually not going to export it here. I'm going to show you in After Effects the other animation way to do it. It's just a larger file size. So if you're not concerned about file size, then export it in After Effects because it's just as easy. So in After Effects, just make sure you're on the composition you want to export. Go to Add to Render Queue, or you can hit Control-M. This will put it in your render queue. From there, you go to Output Module. It says lossless, but that really doesn't really mean anything in this situation. Just click it to open up your module settings. So under Format, AVI is the one that I would use on my PC. Like I said, on Mac, it would just be I think it's a QuickTime. I can't remember. I haven't done it on Mac in a little while. But here, under Video Output, this is the key thing that'll make sure that it exports as an alpha. Right now, the channel is just RGB. You want to select RGB and alpha. Format options, in this case, it doesn't matter. I want it set to none because it's already default doing what I want it to do. So hit OK. And now we are going to just hit Render. And it'll render. And it'll render really fast because this is pretty much nothing. So you'll see that it is going through the render process. This blue line goes up. If you've never exported anything in After Effects, this is just what happens. I also find that exporting alpha channeled footage takes a little bit longer, but you know, it's not that much. Like this took me, how long does it take? Under 30 seconds to export a lower third or a text animation that just elevates your project. So it always makes more sense to elevate your project, especially if you have the time. This took 10 minutes, and it wouldn't because I'm making a tutorial. This would have really taken me like 2 minutes. So that's the easy way to make the animation. I don't like when tutorials don't show you the end product, but this is pretty straightforward. So here's how it looks whenever it's put over footage. I'll just put it over me. So my name animates up. You can put anything there. You can put your website, your Instagram handles, your Twitter handles. You can put anything there just so that you don't have to spell it out to the people watching. They can just see it right here. But that's all I have, so thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. I'm going to put out more tutorials that just show you how to do things in After Effects or Premiere, just because I hope that people are just continuing to create and elevate what they're doing. I hope that you're learning something from After Effects, and I hope that I am helping you learn something from After Effects. If you like this video, you'll probably like other videos that I make. You're here for a reason, so watch this video right here, and always don't forget to subscribe right here. So we'll see you in the next tutorial.